Hello, we're live and welcome. I am here today talking to you about how to be more feminine while dating. And as it happens, this is actually my first YouTube live. So I'm dealing with a few technology things here whilst I get us warmed up here. I don't think I can actually see your questions whilst I'm doing this from my phone, which is a bummer. I might see if I can catch them on the computer. But otherwise, come on in and I will get started soon. Let's just wait for a few more people to turn up. And I want to see if I can see your Q&A, super chat, all live. Yeah, should be able to chat. So if you're in, just do a little chat to say hi to me so I can see if I see the chat stream, because then I'm going to be able to answer your questions and I really want to be able to. Oh, awesome. I'm seeing somebody come on. That's great. Helpful. Thank you, loves. Very, very helpful. Super cool. Hello. Welcome. Beautiful. Beautiful. Hello. I'm seeing many people come on. Hello. Sneha, Janelle, Valeria, Amanda. Welcome. Come on in. Sarah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Welcome, Bridget. Hi, come on in, come in. It's fun to be doing this on YouTube. Just keep sending me your messages because I can see them. Fantastic. Great. Hello, Bridget. Hello, Jen. Come on in. Welcome. I do have to have glasses on to be able to see you, however. Great. Good stuff. It's so great to have you on here. Hello again, Aya. Oh, hello. She says, hello, my idol. Hello from the Middle East. Oh, thank you, my dear. Angel Love, welcome. Hey, come on in. It's great to have you all here. Now, I'm only going to be able to see the last few comments because I'm doing this from my phone today. Bridget, hello, welcome. She says, you're amazing. I love all of your content. I've become more juicy as a result. Absolutely. That's a desired outcome. Thank you for sharing that. Laura, oh, thank you, dear. Thank you very much. I decided to try to do this from my phone today because it's an unusual way for me to be able to broadcast to you, but I thought it would be a great time to try. Sneha, she says, love from India. Sneha, I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. Good. Okay, so what we're here talking about today, and what I might start to doing if you like these live streams, is I will do more of them. And part of my reason for wanting to do more of them is that I want to sort of answer some more, share a bit more of my personal take on things like dating, relationships, and just sort of bring you, you're in my home. I'm literally bringing you into my home, and I'd love to be able to share with you some things that I've experienced with that. And so just take it as very, very much personal experience. And of course, I'm talking to you through the lens of your feminine power. Jen, wonderful. You are so inspiring. From Arizona, beautiful. Thank you. Laura, welcome. I only get the little things flash up every so often. So as I said, this is a new format for me to do these live from YouTube. So as we're waiting for just a few more people, I'm just basically trying this thing. And if you like this, what I might start to do is I might start to do more YouTube lives as an additional video for you, as we, I do my sort of pre-recorded videos kind of thing. But I'd love to be able to do some additional stuff because this is a lot easier for me in the sense that I can talk to you and we just record it live and then it stays up there. But if you come live, you have an opportunity for me to be able to answer questions to you live, okay? So I'm just walking around my house a little bit because I need to get myself tea, because if you don't know that about me, I tend to mainline tea. And so here we have my little teapot, etc., and the queen bee mug. So I'm just going to pour myself some tea. It was just steeping there whilst I was getting us set up today. So this is the queen bee mug if you haven't met it before. That's the queen bee mug. Can you see that? This always comes out on my private group live streams, so you're getting the benefit of the queen bee mug today. Yes, special. Awesome. So Beautiful. So what I want to do is I might get myself settled down so that I'm not just walking around. That's powerfully feminine central right there. You're seeing in the background, which actually, funnily enough, my YouTube channel's up there somewhere in the background, right? It's up there. This is like some sort of mirror on mirror thing going on here. Welcome, welcome. All right, so I want to see if there's some other people I can say hello to. No, I don't think I can check other than on my own stream what's going on. So what I want to do is get us set up here so I can start to talk to you and be a bit more hands-free in the moment. That should work. Have us a little bit more hands-free. I seem to be on a bit of an angle. Okay, wonderful, welcome. So I want to see if I can see you on the YouTube channel, because I do want to be able to see if I can see your questions. All right, so I'm just going to get started here because I want to dive into content and give you some real value here. I always want to be able to, that's my main goal, is I'm always wanting to give you lots of value. And so what I want to talk about is, like, I just had a lot of women asking me about dating and being in the feminine. And I'm now 10, 11 months into a new relationship. And what I thought I want to do is to impart to you what, how and why that was successful this time. If I can just give you a little background before that though. So I was, prior to meeting Thomas, my new love and my dear love, I was pretty much in an 8-year drought on a relationship level. And frankly, before that, I was into really terrible relationships. Clearly, I hadn't really found myself. I hadn't really asserted myself in terms of feminine power, clearly. And so something really changed in this last round of dating that led me to meeting my partner, okay? So this is why I wanted to, while it was still freshish in my mind, I wanted to be able to share this with you. So I'm usually doing this on Facebook. So if you're liking what I'm saying, I think you can still thumbs up me, or you can comment, or you can ask me questions. I'm going to be checking the stream as much as I can while I'm talking to you, okay? So feedback helps me a lot, because then I know how I can help you. Beautiful. Yelena. Hello. Welcome, Yelena. Nunu. Welcome, welcome. All right. So what I'm talking to you about today is dating relationships. So my background is coming from this horrible drought and really not turning up in my feminine, out of the habit of being so much in my masculine and in man mode back then. And so what happened was, so again, the bad side of my story is I was back there and I was in my masculine too much when I turned up dating, and I was also deprioritizing the relationship. So I'm just trying to organize my thoughts here for a second, because I'm really just talking to you personally here in my house, and I'm just talking to you personally. So what happened was I went through this terrible drought, but I was dating and I was hooking up with people, and I just don't think I had a lot of clarity about what I wanted for a start. I was kind of dating, but I was a bit directionless in it, in the sense of I was not that clear on what I wanted. I was turning up as not a very valuable woman. I was not turning up in my value, and I definitely wasn't valuing the feminine. And that's something I really want to pass to you today, okay? So having also come from this strong background of being corporate in Australia and then being an entrepreneur, prior to my own burnout and the stories you've probably heard me say before, I was just so much in man mode. I was so much in my masculine. I didn't even know that I was turning up dating in my masculine. And, you know, if there's one thing I've found with working with women over all this time is we do that partly out of habit, but we also do it because we're nervous, okay, or we're a bit shy. So dating is a very, very vulnerable thing. So let's just be clear on that. It's super vulnerable for you, and it's super vulnerable for him. It's important to know that. It's super vulnerable for both of you when you turn up in the dating scenario, especially early on, right? There's a lot of anticipation and wanting and desire and disappointment, and there's a lot going on when we turn up. So I used to turn up as a dude. I would turn up and I would be proving myself. I'd be leading. I'd be one-upping him, you know, showing how successful I was, competing at some sort of level. Even if I seemed to be jousting with him in terms of playing and being laughing, I was still competing with him. I would lead the dating scenario. I made every mistake in the book. And what it led to was I would either find myself with men that were a bit more in their feminine, or I was just going down a pathway, if I entered a scenario with that man or if I ended up dating him, that I was emasculating him from the get-go, from the foundations. So dating's important because we're establishing the foundations for a potential relationship. And we want to do that in a way that we would like the relationship to ensue, right? So I'm just think about it like that. We don't want to turn up in the dating scenario as a different person than we would like to be in the relationship. And so if you're here and if you're listening to this, I'm guessing it's because you want to turn up in your feminine and turn up in your feminine power. I'm assuming that at this point. And that's really what happened for me. So after the 8-year drought and after, you know, being in relationships where I emasculated men and I was not getting my needs met and they were definitely not getting their needs met, I turned off all the dating apps. So I went through a phase of I have got to just tabula rasa, which means, you know, erase the table, just stop dating. So I turned off all of my dating apps and I went into a phase where I had to look very carefully at myself. I had to look at how I was prioritizing things in my life. And then I wanted to look at how I was turning up in the dating scenario, in the dating world, okay? And so in that phase, and it was, I already only turned it off for 3 or 4 months, I really went, okay, I've just been doing this all ass about. And so the first thing I came to personally was I realized although inside me, I really wanted the relationship. I was sick of that phase where I was just hooking up and dating, and it was a phase, right? But it was not what I really wanted. And so I had to become honest with myself that what I really wanted was a relationship, and I wanted a really deeply enduring, loving, caring, full, rich, adoring relationship with a very masculine man. So in order for that to happen, I went, wow, you know, I was even teaching the work on the feminine. I was not really turning up in my feminine. And I had to go, okay, well, what does that mean? You know, what do I want here? So the first thing I just want to pass here is you want to realize, and careful of any sort of dating people that teach you that you need to write some sort of shopping list of the guy. That's just crap. It doesn't work. And it's actually turning it back on him. It's making it something about the man. What you need to do first and foremost is you need to be really clear, and take this down, write it down, jot it down, or do whatever you need to do to get this piece. You need to be really clear on how you want to feel in the relationship. How do you want to feel with this man? And this is important, right? This is really important, because when you turn up into the dating world and you're really clear on how you want to feel, you're going to sense that really, really quickly when you're dating these guys, okay, or dating these people. Okay, so I got clear on what I wanted to feel. Firstly, I wanted to just turn up totally in my feminine, because I wanted to have a highly, what I call, polarized relationship. Now I apologize, not polarized, polaritied. It's a different word. Now what that means is I want to be able to be strongly in my feminine. I want him to be able to be strongly in his masculine, right? This is a digression, but so much of the malaise in our current world is because there's been a loss of polarity. There's men that aren't really able to be men, and there's women that aren't able to really be women, or men that aren't able to really be masculine, women aren't able to really be feminine. That's sort of the main tenet of my whole work, is to show women how to become powerfully feminine and how to actually move out of their false feminine into their true feminine. And that's partly, you know, one of the things I'm showing you today and want to pass to you today. So, okay, where am I? Okay, just quickly, I want to see if there's any questions before I move on, or if there's any comments, as I'm going to drink from the Queen Bee mug whilst you're commenting. No comments? I might also get a delay, by the way, so I'm not sure if I get a delay. All right, so I want to proceed. So, okay, so I established how I wanted to feel, and I wanted to feel feminine. I wanted to turn up dating feeling feminine, and him being cool about that, like finding a man who liked that. Online dating advice here. Okay, hello, Yelena. Hi. Oh, see, I have this weird thing where it comes up as a flash and then I don't see it again. So I apologize. It's just something about the way this happens on the phone. So I'm going to see if I can try to catch your comments a bit faster. I'm going to continue in the meantime. And if I don't answer over your questions, please know that I'm going to read through them after the live stream, and it may very well be something that inspires a whole new live stream. Okay? Okay, beautiful. So how do you want to feel? I made this decision. I was going to turn up in my feminine and really just see if the man could respond to that. Okay, all right, we have some questions. It's your number one tip for maintaining this polarity when in a relationship. Great question, Bridget. And what I want to say is that I want to talk about relationships and maintaining that as a totally separate conversation, okay? And it's separate, but there's indications in the dating way you turn up that you continue in relationship. But please, I'm going to do that as a different conversation, okay? Good one, though. All right, so where am I? So one, I want to turn up in my feminine. I want him to see if his masculine could turn up. So how do you do that is probably the next question. How do I turn up to a date in my feminine? And these are the things I really want to pass to you today. So firstly, you have to honor, love, and adore the feminine in you. And, you know, I've got over 120 videos here on YouTube to teach you how to do that. It's my gift to you. Of course, I go a lot deeper in that with in my private groups, etc. But these are my gift to you, and so is this today. So honor it, love it, want to be feminine. And so one of the first things to learn how to do, and I remember this in myself. So even when I had the impulse to turn back on 2 dating apps, and this is just the impulse, the intuition I got very specific to online dating apps to turn on. And I also got another impulse to turn, can you see it in the background? Can you see over my right shoulder? Right there is my altar to the beloved. Hello, altar to the beloved. And when I moved into this place, I set that up. I was very clear that I wanted this altar to the beloved, but I hadn't done anything with it other than sort of set it up, and you know, it's got some simple things on it, but I hadn't lit any flames on the altar yet. So it was a new moon, which is an important part of feminine know-how, is to work with the moon cycle. I got the impulse to turn on the 2 dating apps and to start lighting a flame on the altar every day for that month. So I turned on these 2 apps and I started dating, and my main intention was just turn up in the feminine. So a couple of the first dates, I turned up and I would literally acknowledge that what I used to do was 2 things. I would lead the conversation because I could feel that he was shy and uncomfortable, and so was I. But I'm used to making people feel comfortable, and it is a beautiful part of the feminine, but I would lead the conversation. The other thing I'd do is I would lean in a lot. I would literally I'd sit forward on my chair and I would lean into him. And I think in the past I thought that would be, okay, well, I want him to know that I'm interested and I'm leaning in. And I went, this is the totally wrong way to approach this. So I would turn up into these dates instead, and I would literally get in my chair or whatever, and I would lean back. I would lean back and I would open up my energy. I'd open up my body, okay? And I would let there occasionally be uncomfortable silences, and I would I would see if he could lead the conversation and lead the time together. Yeah. Now, I've got a whole bunch of things that precede turning up to a physical date, by the way, that were my personal dating rules. And I'm happy to talk about online dating, and online dating rules is a totally different conversation. But I'm talking about when you actually physically turn up to a date. So for me, it would usually be like a coffee date, just an hour or something. And I would learn to just do this thing where, rather than leaning sort of forward and, you know, being a bit like an interview, I would lean back. I'm going to try to model it a bit for you. I would lean back wherever I was. I would open up my heart and I'd open up my energy. And I would just shine my radiance. I would smile and I would just see how he responded to me energetically. Now, remember that the feminine is about receptivity. To the masculine, it's about action and penetration. So rather than me going into interview mode or trying to control the uncomfortable space, I let him do that. And then I created a space in which he could come toward me instead. If he knew how to, if he was willing to, if he was able to do that, okay? So those are two really key things that I wanted to pass here. Was don't lead the conversation, don't lead the direction, and lean back. All right, so I just want to see if you have any questions before I continue. I think I do get a little bit of a delay, so let me know if you have a question so I can engage you. Okay, I'm getting a few questions about relationships, and today I just want to stay on the dating topics, but I am going to respond to that afterwards, okay? So I'm hearing you. I just want to make sure that we stay on the dating piece. Okay, so I'm going to give you the example of what happened. So when I turned all this on and I went on a few dates, and the truth is some of the men just didn't really know what to do. They couldn't decide where we were going to meet. They kind of were too uncomfortable, or they'd end up being too self-centered, or they didn't really know how to respond to my feminine. Jen says she has a date tomorrow night. Good one, good one. Awesome, awesome. But when I met Thomas, so I broke one of my dating rules. I'll own up to that first when I met Thomas. And the reason was that I had followed my dating rules beforehand, and it was either 2 or 3 very long phone conversations. So they weren't short conversations. I always talked to a man first before I'd meet him. But because Thomas lives a couple of hours away from me, we had long phone conversations. And because he lives far away from me, we had to coordinate a bit to actually get a date happen. And it was like a early afternoon date on a Saturday. And he made a huge effort to come to see me. Another tip, by the way, no way do you go to them. No way. You're already breaking this essential aspect of the feminine, which is receive him. Get him to come toward you. If he can't do that in the early dating situations, it's never going to work, okay? You make him come to you. You make him come close to you. You meet where it's easy for you to meet him. You make him come to you. A little digression again, I remember meeting a few men in the horrible period who'd go, well, unless you're not going to go over the bridge and see me, which would have been 45 minutes out of my way, then forget it. It's like, thank you for letting me know in advance. That is not going to happen, okay? So there's these few things, and they're not tests. It's not about testing the guy or anything like that. It's literally about standing up in your beautiful feminine radiance, knowing that you are the prize here. Your feminine is so valuable to a masculine man. It is so valuable to a masculine man. I had a whole conversation here the other day with one of my private clients about this, and she asked me the question about, well, do I pay or don't I pay? I could do a whole video on that one. But the thing I want to pass to you about that piece is the masculine is about provision. I saw Sneha ask a question about how do men and women stay polarity in a relationship with men when men and women are both providers. That's a really good question, because I was so independent. I was a self-made woman. I was independent. And so I turned up as that self-made woman, and it comes off as really masculine. And what does a man feel if you turn up and you're masculine? His experience, without thinking about it or cognizing it, is that there is no room for his masculine in your life. In fact, he feels that there's no room for him in your life. So he's either going to get emasculated by that, or he's going to go into his feminine, or he's going to be a more feminine man. Okay? I'm so sorry. I only see the questions so briefly. Next time I do this, I'm going to have to find a way where I can actually observe the questions online at the same time. So forgive me if I'm not seeing your full question, and I'm doing my best to answer as many as I can, because I really do want to be able to do that, which is why we're live, okay? So forgive me if I don't answer you straight up, but I will answer you after the live stream. So it's an interesting question, because the thing has to do with polarity there. So where's the value in the feminine? Where's the value in the masculine? And I can promise you, from a masculine man's perspective and point of view, he loves providing. It's one of the essential things about masculine is provision. So let's think about the paying for the date scenario. He loves being able to provide for you. The masculine loves that if he's a masculine man. And I can promise you, and this is going to challenge some of you, and it still does to me today, but if you go to offer to pay, or if you share the bill, or if you pay for him, it doesn't seem obvious, but you take his masculine from him when you do that. Now, to the contrary, when you gratefully say, thank you so much, that was really beautiful, what a beautiful dinner, or what a beautiful date, thank you so much for the coffee, I really enjoyed our time. You be gracious, and you be feminine, and you shine your feminine light. The thing that you don't get yet, let's say, is that your feminine is so valuable to him. Think about it. There's so few women in the world who can or turn up in their feminine that they don't even know it exists, really, right? And so when you do turn up as feminine, a masculine man will fall over himself to provide for you, because you're part of the equation, if you like. What you bring to the table is your feminine, and he will adore you for it. Angel says, yes, I don't understand yet how my feminine is valuable. That's the thing, is you don't until you experience it, and you don't until you realize that the world is so hungry for feminine values, for the feminine essence. You are valuable by your presence, Angel. You are valuable by your very shining, radiant presence. That is a valuable asset to anybody. That is so valuable. I said to my client the other day that it's a bargain for him to buy you dinner, right? When you turn up in your feminine, okay? Let's see if I can catch some more of these. Yes, okay, good. You're getting a little bit. Thank you for sharing your yes there. Okay, so let's see if you have any more questions, because we're at 28 minutes and I could literally talk to you for hours, but I prefer to keep this contextualized. And if there's some more questions we had a few questions about online dating. We've had some questions about relationships and maintaining the feminine relationships. Amanda, is there anything to do before date night and getting ready? I actually have a whole video on that. If you can look under dating and relationships on the YouTube channel, you will see that I have some things to get you ready, how to be more feminine and things that men adore. But part of it is transitioning. So let me just finish on that if you are a professional woman, and if you're transitioning from your work day or your own business to a date, give yourself a little bit of space and time, right? So some of the things I love to do are, I do what I call the sexy dance break. So I'll turn on a few songs and I'll just rock out, and I will get my body into a lot of fluid movement, right? And so that will get my body into this more feminine orientation. Another thing I'll do is something like I will take a luxurious bath. I'll bathe myself in water. I'll put essential oils or smells so that I can slow myself down a little bit and I can start to feel my body, right? Because one of the core aspects of feminine power is really being embodied, really being in your body, really loving your body. Now, another thing I'd say is when you're choosing something to wear, make sure you choose something that you feel really comfortable in. Feel comfortable in it, right? So don't put on something that looks a certain way. In fact, I always make this as a general suggestion. Put something on that feels really good on your body. You feel comfortable. You feel like you're showing and not showing too much of what you want to show. Don't be overly suggestive, overly sexual early on is my suggestion. But also don't be buttoned up, right? Because that would be a bit of a block. Hope that was helpful. Okay, gosh, we're already at half an hour. There's so much I could pass to you about this. Are there any other questions as we're... Okay. Let me see if there's any more questions. I'll take a sip from the Queen Bee mug whilst I see if there's more questions. Sometimes I slip back into being masculine in relationships automatically. I'm really trying to shift it. Yeah, beautiful. Oh, someone asked, what is your favorite compliment to give your man? And Jen says, should I bring a gift to him on your first date? I wouldn't do that. That's too much. It's just too much. You don't know. Assuming you don't know this person, you haven't met him before. I assume the fact that he's making a date with you on his birthday, that he's actually feeling excited about meeting you, and you are the gift. Again, turn up as the gift to him. Turn up as your shining, radiant presence, and that is the best present you could turn up in, right? And what was the previous question? Becoming too masculine again and again. Look, that is a learning. It's a learning to be able to move back out of the masculine into the feminine. That's the whole training that I do with you here. We fall into the masculine and then we need to relearn how to, stretch ourselves and spread ourselves back into feminine awareness and feminine embodiment, okay, which is why I gave the suggestion to do the sexy dance break, because we need to get back in our body. So I say to my women in the Powerfully Feminine Sisterhood, everything I teach you is about what's happening from the neck down, right? We live in a world where everything is dominated neck up, as in what's going on in your head, and rational thought and strategy and action and doing, which is all the realm of the masculine. It is revered more highly in our world today than feminine things. And so as women in a woman's body, we're the only ones that can decide, well, hang on, I'm a woman in a woman's body. I want to be feminine and I want to feel feminine. And so in my work too, I don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. I don't want to throw out our masculine know-how to become feminine. In fact, what we are doing is it's like we've gone through life sort of with one eye covered and we're only seeing in 2 dimensions. And what I want to show you is how to see in 3 dimensions, where the world is way more juicy and way more rich and way more enjoyable, and it's full of pleasure and it's full of desire. That's what the feminine brings to the table. And so one last thing I just want to talk about is, look, if we're saying let the man lead and you lean back, right? So let the man leads in order that you lean back. What does that mean in terms of your leadership, or what are you bringing to the table? So one of the things I always say is that the masculine leads direction in a relationship and the feminine leads depth and intimacy, okay? So we're still leading, but we're leading in a completely different orientation, right? Now, the way that we lead into depth and intimacy is through our desire. So when you are really in your feminine know-how and a feminine power, you know your desires for a start. You really know what you want in any second at any day. And you learn how to ask in an empowered way for what you need all of the time. You know, Thomas, my boyfriend, the other day said, I have literally never met a woman who is so clear on what she needs and who asks it all of the time. And he loves it. And let me tell you why men love women who know what they want, because they hate having to guess. They hate guessing. They don't want to guess about what you want, about where you want to go, about what your needs are emotionally or sexually. They love it when we tell them, because they just don't operate like that. And we, as women, as feminine women, are a world of desire that is constantly moving and changing, and they just can't track with us unless we constantly tell them what we desire. And so we lead them with our desire. I want this. I'd like to go here. This is what I like in bed. You know, this is what I want right now. This is what I want to do. So it's what I call positive desire. And I do a whole training on that in the Powerfully Feminine Intensive, an entire training, an entire module out of 5 main modules of the 5 core feminine arts. Desire, right? So once you discover what your desires are, as in the desires that are underneath all of the conditioning and all that kind of thing, you then have the opportunity to ask for them. And that's a whole other conversation, a whole other training there, but it's really important. And I know at first it's really, really scary, because at first I didn't trust that my desires would be met, or that what's worse than asking for what you want is somebody saying no. And I get that. Trust me, I understand that. But we have to learn to keep asking for what we want. And that is like leading through receptivity. So I ask for what I want. It's like a gift to the masculine. This is what I love. This is what would make me happy. And then he gets to provide that for me, right? It's this beautiful flow of leadership in a different way. All right, my loves. So we are going to finish up here today. It's been such a delight to be here with you. And if you've enjoyed this, let me know. You can still comment underneath the video. You can keep commenting, because this video is going to go up as a video on the channel, and I'm going to go back into the channel and I'm going to see if I can answer some of the questions I didn't get to. And if you have questions about another topic that I could do a live stream on, please let me know. Now, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you liked what we did here today. Ask me questions, and I will continue to turn up for you and to keep educating you about things that I know about with regard to feminine power and energy. Okay, all right. So I'm going to sign off for now with my Queen Bee mug as we're finishing up here. And I need to see how we finish this up today. Paola says, thank you. God bless you. Thank you for your time, says Bridget. Absolutely my delight and pleasure. Absolutely. And my pleasure, of course. I'll turn up for you. If you like them and you turn up, I'll keep turning up. All right, my dears, I will sign off for now, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.